If other people's actions led you to your demise, is it still your fault? Let's have an animated discussion. Victoria has had one goal her whole life, just one, to be the best prima ballerina known to man. The only problem was falling in love. This movie stars Anton Walbrook, Marius Goring, Moria Sharir, was written by Hans Christian Andersen, Emmerich Pressburger, and Keith Winter, and was directed by Michael Powell and Emmerich Pressburger. I watched this movie when I was a child, and I thought I knew most of it. I was convinced that when I would rewatch it, it would bring some blurry moments into vision, but I had no idea how much of this movie would surprise me. So much of this movie surprised me. First of all, this movie's 2.5 hours long, but it didn't feel like it. And I'm a girl who loves world building and exposition, and so I was enjoying the establishment of this movie. But the establishment missed two things I really thought we were going to see. One, we didn't see Craster and Paige fall in love. Not really. We saw them fight a few times, make amends, and then the next time we see them, they're dating, and then we have one moment where they're in love. And for a whole hour before the crux of the movie to happen, I really thought we would see more of that. We also didn't really see Paige become the obsessed artist like the trope usually portrays. Sure, she mentions how much she loves to dance, and she really tries hard to convince Lermontov to give her a chance, but we don't see her give blood and sweat and tears for this, not more than any other ballerina in the movie. This was so confusing for me. The movie has been identified over and over again as an obsessed artist trope movie. It's a movie where you see the artists give everything for their craft. You don't really see that here with Victoria. You can't talk about movies like Whiplash, The Black Swan, Marty Supreme without bringing up The Red Shoes in your search. The Red Shoes is one of the first movies that talk about the dangers of too much passion behind your work. It is a cautionary tale. So I was very confused when I'm watching this movie, and Victoria is very talented, but she just dances.
Why do you want to dance?
Why do you want to live?
Well, I don't know exactly why, but I must.
That's my answer, too.
This is the crux of Victoria Page's psyche, as well as a driving force behind the movie as a whole. Why do you want to do this thing that you do? Why does it mean so much to you? It's as strong as my next breath. It's the reason I wake up in the morning. You sit here and tell me why you want to live. How can you answer that? That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And that's what I expected for the rest of the movie. I expected Victoria to operate with that in mind. Movies like this can be electric. Seeing someone love something so much they give up everything to obtain it. It's why we love athletes who excel at what they do. Tiger Woods, Serena Williams, Kobe Bryant, there is something beyond with them. They ate, slept, and drank their sport. They bled and cried and clawed and did whatever they could to make it happen. It is otherworldly. It feels almost godly to go beyond the limitations of the average human to just be more. It's breathtaking. And there's a cost. There's a huge cost that comes with it.
What did it cost?
Everything.
And that's when I realized this movie isn't about Paige being an obsessed artist. It's about Craster and Lermontov. Paige's character is on the movie poster. She is the main dancer. She is the one wearing the title of the movie. I went into this movie thinking this movie would be about Paige's downfall. And I was wrong. When I first watched this movie, I thought it was about Paige. Yes, Paige dies, but Paige is not paying a price. Paige is the cost that the two other men have to pay. We start the movie with Craster realizing his music is being stolen by a professor for this beautiful ballet. We also see Paige's aunt working her magic to get Paige in an audience with Lermontov, the person running the ballet. Then we learn Lermontov's love for ballet when he calls it his religion after requesting that no one dances at the party that Paige's aunt is hosting. He doesn't want to see his religion diminished to a party trick. Paige makes herself known to Lermontov, as we see in the beginning scene. All three have been established as passionate or great at what they love. Sort of. This is where things start to veer off just a little bit. Let's start with Craster. Craster writes a letter to Lemontov about his work being stolen, gets hired as a conductor, gets in trouble for calling the orchestra in early, already starts orchestrating a new score for the Red Shoes in his head before he realizes he's just being asked to adjust the original score. And then, one of my favorite scenes in the movie, already has a new score when it's requested. He is hungry for this. He wants this. Lermontov has his hands in everything. He is working on adjusting posters. He is in the rehearsals for the ballerinas. He shows up early to Craster's doomed orchestra meeting. He throws a tantrum when his prima dancer gets engaged and makes sure Paige can hear him when he talks about the issue behind that. Paige dances beautifully. She's a wonderful, talented dancer. But beyond that, we don't see much of her in the first 40 minutes where we are establishing the importance of these characters. She shows up to a rehearsal on the first day, is quickly put in her place, then goes to a practice, gets ignored by Lermontov when she runs into a friend, and then is requested to dance a showcase, and they let her stay with the troupe as a result of it. That's it. Out of our three main characters, Paige is the most passive, and beyond her first conversation with Lermontov about her passion for dance, she lets everything happen to her. I hate that. It took me a minute to realize it, but this movie is not about Paige. It's about the boys who are so passionate about their work they cause the downfall of the one who means the most to them. Lermontov finds out Craster and Paige are dating and decides to fire Craster. As if that will be enough to keep them apart, Paige decides to leave with Craster and give up dance. Okay. Craster is able to find other work very quickly, but is not with a ballet. And so Paige is expected to just be happy that Craster found work and she can stay home and be a happy wife. Which I do believe in the sanctity of a beautiful marriage, but I think there are more ingredients in that recipe for a happy marriage. Maybe? This is coming from someone who's not married, so what do I know? Nothing. Not a damn thing. He never tries to help her find a way for her to use her passions, and in all honesty, Lermontov puts the nail on the head when he has this confrontation with Paige on the train.
Would he give it up if you ask him?
I don't know.
You do know.
I wouldn't ask him.
Then why is he asking you? Does he know what he's asking?
Now, would Lermontov also give up anything for Vicky? Never. Of course not. We already know. He's made that very clear. He couldn't even have Craster and Paige date, but he is also not wrong that Craster wouldn't give anything up for her either. She sacrificed for Craster. Craster's not sacrificed for her. Both men hate each other because both men are each other. They love Vicky in their own right, and as a result, you see them tear her apart until the very end. This movie took me a while, guys, because I was like, this isn't an obsessed artist trope. And then I realized it was, just not for the character I thought. I have a theory. I don't think you can be great at something and a well rounded person. If you think of any person who accepted something or accomplished something great in their life, they also have a tale of falling short in something. In some cases, that thing can be as horrible as the great thing that they did is great. Every action has an equal opposite reaction, as the scientists say. Amazing world leaders have had affairs, scientists have been horrible parents, athletes have just been reported to be terrible to other people. There is always something that you cannot focus on because all of your attention is over here. There is something you have to lose in order to be considered one of the greats. The obsessed artist trope movies are so fascinating because we don't always get to see the peek behind the curtain. We only see the end product of someone being great. We don't get to see the setup, the blood, the sweat, the tears of someone who gives up everything to gain what they would consider everything. It's impossible to have everything, so you need to decide what everything is for yourself, and then what are you willing to give up to attain that everything. The human body has limits. If you look at Miles Teller's character in Whiplash, watching his final scene, you can see how he's making a breakthrough with his music while he's losing a piece of himself. The more he smiles, so does J.K. Simmons. And you realize in this movie the villain is winning. Miles is becoming everything JK wanted, and Miles is happy to become the best. But he made a choice to be that. And we see that choice in knowing that Miles will now more likely end up just like JK's character. Not everyone is ready for the cost of greatness, and that is one of the reasons why we love these movies so much. They show the price. Lermontov and Craster Both are amazing at what they do, and as a result, they fall short of caring for the most important person in their lives. I struggle with this movie and this realization because it means that Paige has less control over her life than I would have liked. Paige in the movie is a product of what happens when two egos fight over your hard work. Victoria being manipulated by two men who wanted to have her, one romantically and the other professionally, but have her. This leads to her indecision and perhaps, as some people would say, the decision of the shoes, as some people believe it was the shoes that control Paige to the end of her life. I really like that idea, but that also makes me sad again because it takes away her autonomy, but also confirms the curse of the red shoes. She chose to put them on, and as soon as she chose to put them on, her fate was sealed. So then maybe she did have autonomy after all, but it was a lot smaller than she thought it would be. When we look at the ballet that tells the story, we see the very thing that Paige is going through. She wants something so bad. You can see that in the tension here, the battle of wanting the shoes, that conversation between her and her love, which, oh my gosh, guys, the ballet is obviously the best part of this movie. It is, I'm glad they showed the whole thing. It is stunning, stunning work. She wants it so badly, she literally jumps into the shoe. Oh, ooh, how did they do that? I'm sure there's a video somewhere of how they made it happen, but it's just so magic to me, especially knowing this movie came out in 1939. As things are progressing, we start to see her constantly getting pulled away from the man she loves. As she dances, she out dances everyone. You can see the exhaustion as all the paper start to fall. Her love interest turns to paper and fades like Lermontov firing Craster. The whole carnival is over and she keeps going. She's finally ready to go home. And you see the shadow controlling her. She can't go home. Now you see her reaching the same way she was reaching for the shoes in the beginning for what she already had, and now she can't have what she wanted. Or she can't have what she already had. That makes sense. First it was for the shoes, and now it's for reaching home for home. This reminds me of when she leaves Lermontov to marry Craster, but Lermontov never really gives up on her. He steps back, but as he says later, he keeps an eye on all of her performances. He knows she's still going to class. He knows that she is still dancing, just not on stage. And then we have the paper dancing scene. Guys, it's beautifully done. How they turn him into her man is stunning, and how much she misses him, wishes she could be with him again. Paige wants Craster. She loves Craster. She wants him. She misses him. She wants him to be enough. He is the newspaper man. His opera is making headlines. She's losing him. Now she's with the dead, who are all following her and torturing her as Paige herself feels dead without her ability to dance on stage. And then, when she actually tries to die, she can't. Not yet. Dance is still calling her. She can't let dance go, so when she tries to give up dance, it's not an option for her. She can't not think about dance. And then we have the funeral scene, which, oh my gosh, can we just, it's so cunty. That funeral scene is everything. Listen, I need my funeral to be as much, if not more, of a vibe. They are all killing it. With those black shoes, art. Art. The shoemaker tries to give her a knife. She goes to cut, it turns into a plant, and then it goes into a knife. She can't let it go. You see it all. Everything that it will cost for Paige and Craster and Lermontov. Paige will actually finally die. Craster will mourn his love, and Lermontov, the show must go on as the shoemaker puts the shoe back on display for his next victim. And that's a curse in itself, isn't it? To know that you will bring the ruin of someone else. And you keep going. Wanting to dance isn't a crime. Wanting to be the greats wasn't the issue here. The issue was when two people's greatness got threatened. We saw what they prioritized. This also explains to me why Moira was listed third in the credits. I was incensed. I was like, I'm sorry, she's the main character. Why is she third? A lot of people argued that it was because it was her debut, which also kudos. That's your first movie? Insane. And, Lermontov and Craster had more experience dancing. But also, upon watching this, she's not the main character. She's the main foil, and the reason why they lose all sense of self in their work. She's not the main character. I think some people will say that I'm just trying to place all the blame on the men. in this movie, and I have to disagree. I wanted this movie to be about Victoria and her own downfall. I wanted it to be about Victoria being blind to her shortcomings and it leading to her demise. FD Signifier has a video that talks about the importance of a black villain. They are important because they make us multifaceted. We get autonomy. We get to take control of situations. Being able to be a solid, multifaceted villain gives us a form of power that we often don't feel like we have in reality. The same comes with seeing a woman character be flawed and take those things too far. Too often, women are trained to have life happen to us, not make it happen. I loved this movie more when I thought Victoria was the cause of her downfall. Her working too hard leading to her demise. Watching the movie now, I find it brilliant in another way, but in a way that makes me sad. This movie is much more true to life in some cases, and that makes it feel more like a horror than before. After all, what's scarier? Being a puppet master or the puppet on a string? Overall, I give this movie 4.8 red shoes. And my question for you this week is, would you rather be great or a well rounded person? And if you would rather be great and you could choose what your shortcoming was, what would your shortcoming be? I'd love to say I'd rather be well rounded, but I think I want to be great. But I don't know what I would pick my shortcoming to be. That's hard, but it's really hard. Don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, I hope you have an amazing day and see you later.